Thanks for joining us for another of the CCSC Victory Wrap Sports Podcasts. I'm Rick RJ Jullienne, and alongside me, as per usual,
Dale the coach, Eggleton.
And we've got to thank our sponsors before we get into talking about our special guest. And once again, thanks to our major sponsor, Central Coast Sports College. Also, welcome again to Heritage Real Estate. And joining us for this particular podcast, and I'm sure the lady that our special guest knows very well, is the Runner Shop at Killarney Vale. Now, Coach, we've had some amazing people on our Victory Wrap Sports Podcast, but I doubt whether any of them have done what this guest has done in an extreme way.
I know they haven't done it, RJ. It's Melissa Robertson, a lady that continues to challenge herself physically and mentally in the sport of ultra marathon running and trail running. The distances she challenges herself to conquer keep getting longer, and we look on in bewilderment and fascination. With the utmost respect, we ask how and why. She started taking on 100-kilometre races, then 100-mile races, and now 200 miles, which is 320 kilometres. The challenges seem endless, and we will learn about her inspiring results in the backyard ultras. The distances, the terrain, the weather, and the clock are her opponents, but she continues to be victorious. Her recoveries are amazing, and her determination, focus, and preparation are disciplined. And the reason why she is successful and continues to raise the bar and stay at the forefront of this grueling sport. We will learn more about rogaining and orienteering, which she also successful in competition. It is with pleasure, Melissa, we welcome you to the Victory Wrap.
Thanks.
And I'm guessing that you probably ran from Shelley Beach to be here, did you?
Oh, no, but I did go for a run this morning.
I
I did a
thought
River
you might
State Forest. I had to get my training in.
Yes. Now, before all these, ridiculously long runs that you did, as a young girl growing up, with your parents and brothers and sisters, whatever, what were you into? What sport did you get into before you took on these amazing ultra marathon runs?
To be honest, not all that much. Like, it was netball, usual kids sort of sports, bit of tennis. We were made to do a lot of family bushwalks, which I think is what kind of led into it. And yeah, just like going to the beach a lot, nippers, surfing, skateboarding, basically your standard kids
normal
sport.
stuff.
Yeah, totally normal stuff. I did do some cross countries at school in high school, but I wasn't a runner or anything special like that.
Well, Melissa, tell us about the family and those younger years growing up.
My mum's really, really into bushwalking, so we were made to go on, as we called them, forced marches as children. We'd get taken for a picnic, then made to go on a forced march for, it probably wasn't even all that far. And my dad's he's a runner, so he was one of the original Terrible Trotters members. And we went to a lot of races that he did. We didn't really watch him race. We mostly did more interesting things. So we'd go do 6-foot track and do like a tour of Jullienne caves while he was off running for hours.
All right, so, obviously being, initiated into, seeing your parents do these bushwalks and runs and that, when did you start thinking seriously about, going the extra, 40, 50 Ks?
I think it was when I was in my 20s and moved down to Sydney and trained up for stock standard sea to surf, which I think everyone does. Did a bay to bay and a half marathon. And then I got in my head, I'll see how far I can go. And so I actually just went out Wiseman's Ferry and just did a much longer run. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. And then I kind of had a bit of a detour into obstacle racing. So I competed in that quite good. I went over to the US and competed overseas. And basically the obstacles and everything got too heavy and too high for me because I'm quite short. And the only reason I did well was because I was running, and I just switched purely to running and went and trained up, and I think I went from marathon to 100K. There was nothing in between.
Melissa, tell us about those obstacle races and the Spartan race. What attracted you to them? As you say, that was what got your appetite going and then going into the marathon running.
I think it was the adventure of it. It was something a bit different. It wasn't just running like you were doing monkey bars and crawling through mud. And it was when they first came out into Australia. So it was really good fun. And there was like little groups of us going off and playing with them and racing. Yeah.
What about, the people that were there, competing with you? You're getting into the Spartan, the obstacle races. Did you make a lot of friends that you connected with? And so you go, okay, this is coming up, let's all go together?
Yes. So one of my original ones I actually did with a boot camp that was local at Twin Bay, and we all went down and competed in, I think it was like Raw Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, that was one that was around in the day, and yeah, it had great fun. And I did the first Tough Mudder that was in Glenworth Valley, and I came second there, and I was like, oh, I think I could actually compete in this. So that was when I started training running as well. So I was doing just a little bit of running on the side and, stock standard results. And then I started to train, and I started to win Spartan races, or at least podium in them. And then I absolutely started to do so. I did 6 foot track before I'd done ESOL training, and I had an all right result, 5.5 hours. And then a year later, I'd done some training, and I dropped it down to a top 10 finish and like 4 hours 30. So it was, made a big difference.
Well, listen, there's a lot of people out there like to go for their run. What do you prefer, the trail running or the road running?
Oh, definitely trail.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, road's not my scene. I know people love it and they're all into the pacing. I just get bored. I like the trail. I like the adventure and being able to run to where people can't normally get to, and yeah, I like that part of it.
What about, the actual running? You're starting out, you've got a distance that you've got to achieve. What's the toughest part of running? And let's look at 100Ks where you started out doing all those. What's the toughest part of that 100K journey?
Somewhere in the middle, where I'm questioning all my life decisions and why I'm doing this. I think it's like starting out, it's not too bad. You've got all that adrenaline and the excitement at the start line of the race, and everyone's there and they're all pumped, and you take off. And then somewhere about 20, 30 Ks in, it starts to really hit that, I've still got more than half of this to go, and I'm feeling a bit tired. I'm not enjoying this so much. I'm now in a lot of pain, and it's finding that extra gear and pushing through that.
Well, Melissa, as we mentioned, it started at the 100K and then progressed to 100 mile, and now the 200 mile. Why wasn't it just at 100K? Why do you keep wanting to challenge yourself, both physically and mentally? Is it because what you see other people can achieve?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just seemed like a natural progression to see how far I can actually run if there's a race that goes that distance. So just keep pushing it. Like my first 100K, it was G&W, that's like the local race.
Yep.
And I went in it not only to win it, but to beat the record. Never done 100K. And so I took off and I managed to do that one, beat the record. And then I'm like, well, they've got a 100-mile race. So naturally, now I need to try to do the same thing in the 100-mile, which that was a lot less successful than I DNF, dehydrated. But it did improve. So my next ones, I learned from that, and then I built it up. And then I did a few 100-milers, and I quite like the challenge of being out there overnight and like seeing what you can put your body through and riding the waves of like the ups and downs of your emotions of, oh, I'm going so great, and followed by, oh, this is terrible, why am I doing this? Then back to, oh, I'm so great. It's just the waves just get bigger. And then when there was the 200-milers start to get put on around the country, I was like, I want to have a crack at one of these. I want to see what this is like. And so the first one was over in WA on the Bibbulmun track called Delirious West.
Yes.
Yeah, and flew over there, and it was an experience. I had no idea how tired you could get until,
I'm tired listening to you, Melissa. So, look, take us through, when you've done the race, what's your body like after running? Let's go 100K, then you're moving to the 100-mile, another 60Ks. What's your body like when you finish? You're obviously stoked that you've done it and you've achieved it and you finished. You might have won it. What do you like physically?
Actually, I'm far worse on the shorter races because you're running so intense. Like a half marathon or a marathon, that completely trashes my legs because 100% like all the time. But you can't actually do that in a 100-miler because you just can't. Your body just can't hold that pace. So afterwards, I'm actually not too bad. Mostly I'm just tired and hungry. So I actually quite like going for a bit of a walk afterwards and that just to keep everything moving.
I'd be in traction.
Yeah, well, I do. I like put on my compression pants, and there's a lot of sitting too. There's a lot of walking, there's some sitting, and then a lot of like snacking. So much snacking.
Well, Melissa, tell us about the preparation. You work full time. Is it a matter of getting the kilometres in your legs all the time, or the variety in your training? Talk us through in your preparation for one of these big events.
So I actually have a coach that coaches me online, and he specialises in ultras the preparation tends to be, I'll have like A-list races, which are ones that I really want to do well in, and then I'll have others where I'm just kind of doing for fun and a bit of training. So the preparation tends to be focused to that A-list race. So if it's one that's got a lot of sand, you'll see me over on like North Entrance running up and down the beach. Or if there's hills, I'll be up in the Watergans or something like that. So it tends to be a bit focused. Most of my runs, I'll do them early in the morning before work. Get out there. I can't fit a heap in through the week just because I have to like go to work. But on the weekends, yeah, I get up early. Like I'll be up at like 2 a.m. or something out there running, and it's actually quite nice. It's quite nice out there at that time of the morning. There's no one much around.
It's very dark, Melissa.
It's dark. It's dark. It's dark, and occasionally I scare campers because they've like come all day to get to this spot and they've set up camp, and then I'll just come jogging through at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I can see them in their tents looking a little nervous about what's approaching because all they see is a bright light in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, then I make like a ghost noise and run off.
All right, back with more with our ultra marathon guests, Melissa Robertson and the CCSC Sports College Victory Wrap. And sports fans, we've got to give a huge shout out to our major sponsor, Central Coast Sports College. If you're a parent of a young aspiring athlete on the coast, or if you are that athlete, maybe like Melissa, you need to hear this. CCSC is not your average school. It's the only school in New South Wales with a full-time, fully integrated sports program every single day. They're all about helping young athletes pursue their sporting dreams without sacrificing their education and developing the whole person both on and off the field. And as those student athletes move into senior high, CCSC takes it a step further with real-world learning, internships and experiences to help them figure out their future. Now, if you're looking for a school where young athletes truly take responsibility for their learning and their sporting aspirations, check out CCSC, the Central Coast Sports College. You can find out more on their website, ccsc.nsw.edu.au. Give your child the best of both worlds.
Melissa, you spoke about the Great North Walk to the listeners. It's 260 kilometres from Sydney to Newcastle. And during COVID times, you didn't stay idle. You decided to take it on and get that fast time known again. Tell us about that time and going through the COVID period for you.
So that one, we were actually, a friend and I were both going to go over to WA to race a 200 miler over there, but the borders closed and we couldn't do that. So it's like, well, we're fully trained up. I want to have a crack at the FKT, and she also did at the same time, just a bit slower. And so, yeah, we were like, let's do GNW. And I can't, at the time, there mustn't have been any restrictions at all. So we were fine to run from Sydney to Newcastle and just planned it out, spent maybe a week or two planning. And because it comes through the Central Coast, I had a heap of friends, like they were setting up aid stations and coming along. And I had a friend that, because it has 2 water legs in it, so you have to cross Sydney Harbour. And you also have to cross the Hawkesbury. And I've got a friend that has a boat, so she was there at Brooklyn, and they were dressed as pirates when I came running in. And so we had to jump on the pirate boat, and the pirate boat rushed me around to Patonga and got out there and kept running. And it was a really good activity. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I did get a bit tired partway through, but mostly it was good fun. Oh, and the leeches. Oh my God. There was torrential rain on the second day up in the Watergans, and the leeches, they saw their opportunity and they made their move.
I was going to ask you that. What's the greatest danger that you got when you're running through the night?
Probably just snakes. Because that's the one thing that would actually stop me. Like, if I get bitten by a snake, I have to stop.
I think most people would.
Yeah, but so when I'm like properly remote and I don't have phone reception, I'll carry a PLB. And it's purely because if I get bitten by a snake, I have to, I can't get out of there.
Well, Melissa, let's put it into perspective. The fastest time you've ran it, how long did it take you to run?
That one was 52 hours, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was, Sydney to Newcastle in 52 hours. And I was pretty trashed by the time I got to Newcastle.
Some people don't go that far for a holiday, Melissa. I got to tell you that. Now, you've finished all these 200-mile races. You've won many of them, and one where you defeated the guys. How did the male athletes feel about being beaten? Were they okay? Were they all right?
Yeah, no, he was okay. I mean, he was trying to beat me towards the end, but then I decided that I really just wanted to win overall, so I took off running like a lunatic because at that point I'd run 310 kilometres, so my brain's not fully working, and I just sprinted out the last aid station for the finish. so that he wouldn't catch me.
Melissa, the challenges we'll keep talking about that you've taken on, but the backyard ultras, that's a great concept. Just explain to us how that all works and your triumph there on how many kilometres you covered.
Yeah, so that one, it works every hour on the hour. You have to run a 6.7 kilometre loop. So if you finish in 40 minutes, you have to wait until the next hour to start your next loop. And if you come in overtime, you're automatically out. So you can't miss any loops. You have to just be ready to go every hour on that hour. In the start corral, they'll sound the buzzer or horn or whatever they're doing, and off you'll go, and you just got to finish in time. So any recovery, toilet breaks, timeout, naps, it all has to fit into that 1 hour so that you're ready to go on the next hour. And yeah, I've done a few of them. To varying degrees. They're quite... At first it seems like super easy, like heaps of people do them, and so the one I did down in Sydney, it started, I think it had about 400 people in it at the start, and people are like super enthusiastic, and because it's quite easy, like you do your first 5-6 laps, it's very easy. You're only doing 6.7 kilometres per lap, you've got ages to do it. And then it starts to get harder. And I really like watching the people drop off. Like, they get tired or they get a bit over it or they just don't make the cut-offs. And, yeah, then it just whittles down until you've just got the last few
person
runners.
standing.
Yeah, so there's just one finisher at the end.
From the many people that are listening into our podcast here, Melissa, I've got to tell you some of the names of the races you go in, and it's pretty apt, I reckon. Delirious West, Irrational South, Unreasonable East. I mean, these are incredible events that you've been part of, and it must be great to actually be invited to know about it and to go there and finish these. And you won some of them. You won many of them, didn't you?
Yeah, I've done 6 200 milers and I've won 4 of them. So, yeah, I was just collecting them for a while.
Well, Melissa, what amazes me as well is your recovery rate. You know, we spoke about that last man standing, the backyard ultra, where you were the last 254k you covered in that time. But in that same month, you took on the human hobble, which is...
that was actually the following weekend.
Wow.
So I already had the human hobble registration, then Sydney Backyard Ultra came out, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll try it. And yeah, did the Backyard Ultra, finished that. I don't even know what day. There was multiple days. I think I finished that on the Sunday, maybe. And yeah, then headed down to Tumbarumba that Friday and raced human hobble on the Saturday, 100 miler.
And you
won it as well.
Yeah, I was also surprised about that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was actually I think it was my fastest time I'd ever run it too, because I was much slower at the start just because I wasn't feeling it, and then towards the end I was really keen to finish, so I picked up the pace.
Well, you won it more than once, didn't you? And tell us about this one here. This is an interesting name. Feral Pig, 100 miler, 2017. Tell us, where was it? What was it? And, how'd you go?
That one was over in WA again, and it's also on the Bibbulmun track, a different part to Delirious West. And it was the hottest race I've ever done. It was like 38, 40 degrees out there in WA. The heat's different. It's like just cooking you, and they don't have as much tree cover. And I tried to pull out of it. Like, I came into a fairly remote aid station, and the race director was in there. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was dehydrated. I'd run out of water. And he's like, just rest it up and see how you are in a couple of hours. Like, he wouldn't let me leave. And so this was at one of the camping huts. So I was quite safe there. I had water, I had snacks. Like, it was an aid station. So I laid down for like an hour and a half. And then I started to feel okay. Like, I had phone reception, so I was chatting to the people, like, I'm feeling okay. Maybe I should just keep running. So I'd never actually left the race, so I was still in it. So I left the aid station after my 2-hour break and ran down the lead runner, the lead woman, about another 20 or 30 k's in, and ended up winning it.
Amazing.
Rogaining is another sport you're very successful at too, Melissa. Tell us a little bit about that, what's involved in that, because your orienteering skills come into that, and some of the races you've gone in for that, because they're not easy either.
Yeah, so that one I actually got into via, I had a friend that grew up orienteering, and so she took me on a couple of events, the local ones. And then I got into that, and then it progressed to rogaining, which is very similar to orienteering in the terms of you have your map and your compass, and you can't use any electronic devices. It's just map and compass, but they're much larger. So their shortest events, a 3-hour one, but they go all the way up to 24 hours. So generally I'll do about the 12-hour ones. and it's a huge map, so we can cover easy 50, 60 Ks during a rogaine. And some are in the bush, some are in the street, some are in urban bush. They have like the one coming up next weekend is called the night gain. So it's just in the dark. So we're just running around for 5 hours in the dark at Springwood.
Okay.
And you have to do it in a team. So there is one, the mini game, which is only 3 hours you can do solo. But all the others you do it in a team of 2 to 5 people. So generally I have a list of my friends and I just recruit. I see who's available and like, would you like to do this rogaine? We're going to go have fun. And yeah, and then you get your map in advance and you plot out where you're going to run, and it's based on points. So you have to find specific controls and locations on the map. And for different ones, they're worth different points. So you plot out how many points you think you can get in your, say, 6 hours. And then you have to go out, run around, get as many points as you can, and get back within that 6 hours, or else you lose. You get a penalty if you come back late at all. So you lose points. So yeah, it's a mix of running, navigation, getting stuck in bushes because it's cross country. Like you don't stick to trails. You just head off into the bush. And for some reason they trust you with your map and compass just disappearing into the bush.
Talk about disappearing into the bush. Let's talk about this insane Barkley Marathon, which is a secret ballot. You were invited. I think it said it cost you $1.60 US to enter. And it's the race that eats young. 5 full loops. You got lost, didn't you, in the bush somewhere, the wilderness?
Oh yeah, that one. That was hard. So it was over in Tennessee. It was absolutely freezing. It got to like -10. There was ice on everything. My bladder in my backpack actually froze, so I couldn't get water out because the hose and the water was all frozen.
Wow.
And I've never experienced anything like this. I live on the Central Coast. Things don't really freeze. So yeah, it was, and there was like all icicles, which was quite distracting because I kept on wanting to touch the ice and the snow and the frozen things. But yeah, it was mental. They're hills, like they're mountains, because everything's deciduous. You just go straight up the side of this crazy steep mountain. There's nothing in your way, and then come back down the other side. So all the books that you're trying to find, because they work with their checkpoints are like books, so you have to go and rip out the page that corresponds to your bib number.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they know they've been there. So each book, it was either at the top of a mountain or at the very bottom, and it seemed to alternate. So it was up, down in this freezing cold temperature. And yeah, I was with another guy. We kind of just teamed up a bit, which people do, and we managed to wander off the map, which wasn't the most successful thing, but we did get back in the end.
How long did it take you?
Oh, I was out there for, I don't know, 30 hours or something. Yeah.
Because Melissa, it's 5 loops altogether,
Yeah.
and you get a certain time to do each
Yes.
loop, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to do the first 3 within a certain time, and then all 5. So if you do 3 within a certain cutoff, then it's like the fun run, and then all 5 within a larger cutoff. Yeah.
I don't think funds should be in that
Yeah, I know. No,
conversation.
the dude that puts it on, he's pretty crazy.
It is. It's pushing everything to the limits, isn't
Yeah.
it? But preparation-wise, do they inform you what to take in your backpack?
No, that's all part of it. So there's no instructions. There's nothing like that. You've got to try and find the information out from people that have done it in the past. So to actually be successful at it, you would need to do it a few times. Just to also the map you're using, it's not the most detailed, combined with it has like old tracks on and ones that no longer exist, and it's very complex. So people that do well there, one of the guys that's finished it multiple times, he actually lived near there, so he knew all those mountains, and others they'll tend to have gone there a few times to pick
Maybe
up.
he already ripped the pages out that
Yeah, I
corresponded
think
to
so,
his bib.
mate.
Possibly.
That's right.
Possibly. One of the books did get kidnapped. A bushwalker found it and brought it in because they thought it had been left out there.
And sometimes no one finishes it. Sometimes, don't
Oh,
they?
quite often. Most years no one finishes. So there'll be years where, and he just makes it harder. So if he does get multiple finishes, it just makes it harder so that there won't be finishes.
All right, we'll get back to Melissa very shortly, but let's have a chat about one of our sponsors, Heritage Real Estate. If you're looking for your next home on the Central Coast, Heritage Real Estate has been helping locals buy, sell and lease for over 30 years. As a family business, they know this community inside and out. Now, whether you're a property owner, first-time buyer, an investor or in need of expert property management, the team's dedicated to providing personalised, stress-free service every step of the way. With Heritage, you're not just another client, you're looked after like family. Their deep local knowledge and commitment to your success make them the trusted choice for real estate on the Central Coast. If it's time to make your move, visit heritagere.com.au or contact the team at Heritage Real Estate and experience the difference.
Melissa, what about goal setting? Have you got a support team you sit down with and say, well, this is what I want to do this next 12 months. These are the races I'd like to take on, and training partners, because, you know, it can get a bit lonely doing it all on your own.
Goal setting, probably not. I tend to find I always have like bucket list races I'd like to try. So at the moment it's UTMB, Ultra Trail Mont Blanc next year. So that's like my main goal. So everything will be working towards that. And I'll do plenty of races in the meantime headed there, but that's like my main goal. And training partners, yeah, I do. I have like a whole heap of different groups I train with. So I run with Terrigal Trotters, I belong to that. And I got some friends, we do our Thursday hill repeats, which literally is just running up and down a hill. I don't know why they do it with me, but everyone enjoys it. And I do like Tuesday, the track out at Mingara with Marg from the Runner Shop. She leads that. And then the longer runs, it depends on who I can rope in to do it with me. I will admit, most of my ones at 2 a.m. it's just me by myself, because
I can understand that.
Yeah,
yes.
No one else is. And I just stop asking people because I'm like, no one's going to do this. But the cruisy ones, I do the social ones, and yeah, I quite like that, where you just run along and you're having a good chat and you kind of solve all life's problems while you're out on a run, because you're just looking to distract yourselves.
What about the mental side of doing all these runs? You know, when does the brain or the mind start going, well, hang on, do you ever hallucinate when you're out there around the 150k mark or the 160, 200k mark?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's when I get tired. So I used to do the 100 miles, but now it's less so because I'm used to the one night of not sleeping. But when you hit that second night, oh man, like you're telling yourself it's not a giraffe up ahead on the trail. It's definitely not a giraffe, but I'm still seeing the giraffe. And I know it's not there. And it's like a tree that just kind of looks like it.
You've just run past Taronga.
Yeah, it's like, and I'll see like, sometimes I'll be seeing like demons, or often I'll see like people in the trees.
Right.
Or the other one too is I'll hear voices.
Maybe you shouldn't run so often.
No. It's actually, it's fully interesting. Like I'll hear voices. There was one time I heard an entire radio program, and it was literally the wind, but my brain was just misinterpreting it wrong, and I still heard the radio program. Like I even know what it is, but it's like, it's just, you just got to go with it. Like sometimes I have been speculating whether it's like my body tried to distract me to stop me running so it could like have a rest, but I just ignore whatever I'm seeing and just keep going. I mean, if there ever is like a giraffe on the trail,
Well,
I'll be like, dude, I don't know.
I knew it was.
Hop on board, get a ride from it.
Yeah. Mostly you just gotta, just try and ignore it. But it's full on. I assume it's well, I don't know if drugs would be easier or not, but maybe.
What motivates you, Melissa, to keep doing it?
I don't know. Maybe I just like seeing how far I can push it. I really like the adventure of it and going and seeing new places and kind of the challenge of it, seeing what I can achieve, how far I can make it. Just maybe, I think it's mostly the challenge and just something different. I like mixing it up with the races a bit. The recent one I did over in WA called Cape to Cape, it was a brand new race, and it was on the Cape to Cape walking track over there, and it was spectacular. I mean, the weather was horrendous, but the course was spectacular. So it's like getting the opportunity to see that, and I can see all of that in a 25-hour period, whereas normally it's a, I don't know, multi-day walk or week-long walk or something. So you can just kind of see a lot, and yeah, I like the adventure.
What about after you've been running for so long? Do you have a great rival? Are there, women in particular, men and women race in these races, but do you have a great rival where you go, okay, competing against this lady here, this girl, I've got to try and beat her. I've got to beat her.
Different times. There's been different ones. There were the Brocks for a while. They're not related, but Julie Brock and Renee Brock, I kept on trying to beat them. And I could at different ones, but I always like that. But there's been, back in the obstacle racing days, I used to always try and beat this lady called Deanna Blegg, and she was just a bit better than me, and I wanted to be as good as her. So I'd really push it. I could only get her if there was a lot more running involved. She was just better at the obstacles. But different ones. But at the same time, it's not like a vicious competitiveness or that. I'm quite happy if they also do well. I think it just works well that you're both pushing to beat each other, so the best will come out of you. So you're going to produce the best you can, and she'll produce the best that she can. And yeah, and often during the race, if I get the opportunity, I'll run with them and have like a chat as well. And then one of us will pace will change and someone will go ahead and then we'll leapfrog. And yeah, I don't know if there's any great rivalries. It's more just I like the competition of it. And it is one of the things that pushes me.
Melissa, what about superstitions? When you're packing your bag to go, is there little things you like to do, like put the left sock on first or anything like that?
No.
None?
No, I don't actually have any superstitions. I do micromanage my pack. No one's allowed to touch the pack. I don't know if that's one. And yeah, a lot of people during ultras, they have a lot of feet trouble with blisters and things. My standing rule is no one touches my feet. They're just fine. I'm sure they're fine. Just don't touch them. So yeah, not really. I just like to really micromanage my race.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got a race coming up, say a month away for this ultra marathon race, whether it's the 200 miles or whatever. So when do you sort of wind the training down so that you're going there in peak condition, no injuries, nothing? What's your lead into a race?
I'll generally have a last big hit out of something. I'll go do, if it's like a 100 miler, I might go do a 90k loop or something in the bush about 4 weeks before the race. And then 3 weeks out, it'll be maintenance. 2 weeks, it'll drop a little bit. And I really only taper in the last week where the training will drop off. I'll still do a little bit of speed work in there, but just not as much distance, and try to get as much sleep as I possibly can, because I found that helps coming in, because for the 100 milers, I'm awake all night. So it's easier if I come in well rested. So I pretty much prioritize sleep in that week leading up to the race itself. But
Melissa, you spoke about you're going to France next year to compete. You've got a elite entry into that. Does that happen with a lot of events? They seek you out and want you to compete in their events?
Some, mostly only the smaller ones. I just like to go to the events. This one I got pretty lucky with, because I've been trying to, Austral Mont Blanc, it has a lottery system, and you have to collect these things called stones, which is basically you just have to do so many races, you get so many stones, and they count as lottery entries. So I've been trying for a couple of years to get into it with my lottery entries, and I have been successful. So I was pretty stoked this year when at UTA I got the elite entry, which I just did well enough that I happened to get the elite entry. So now I get to go next year. I don't need to go to the lottery anymore. So yeah, I get invited to a few different ones. Mostly it's the little races, or to be honest, I just really like running, so I just show up anyway.
You've completed, the race, okay? You finish first or podium finish. Is there a prize? What do you get for, a medal or something? What do you get as a recognition of such a great performance? Is there a cash prize or anything like that?
Cash prizes are super rare. There's only a couple of them that had it. Sydney Backyard Ultra, it had a huge cash prize. It had $10,000, which that one, I'm actually using that to fund my trip over to France for the next race. Like, that was one of the reasons I went in. It was because I was very determined to win that cash prize, so then I could go fund getting to France. Human Hobble, they have a $500 first prize.
Okay.
I think, and there's a couple of other little ones that do, but cash I don't think there's that much money in the ultra running, so it's pretty rare. Mostly you get a trophy. Oh, and sometimes you get some sponsor gear. I do like when I get like new shoes, I win them, or socks, or because I use all that stuff. So I love it when I win gear.
Melissa, we talk about your endurance levels, your recovery, how you can do that, and the events that you've gone in. Is there any favourite ones? Is there ones that you go, I want to do that again, or I'm looking forward to doing that again next year or the year after? Is there one event, like you say, about the terrain, about the scenery? Is there some that really appeal to you?
Yeah, probably my favourite 100-mile race is Human Hobble, it's down at Tumbarumba on the Human Hobble walking track. And I'm not really sure why I like it so much, but it's put on by runners, for runners, and it's just a fantastic event. Like, you're running around down there's some shorter races going at the same time, so there's multiple people out and about on the trails, and you're following the rivers, and then you climb up to this mountain called Granite Mountain in the late afternoon. And I always try to, over the other side, Granite Mountain, there's these big waterfalls, and I always try to get to them in the daylight because I just want to see the big waterfalls. And so then you bomb down there, you come back up past the big waterfalls again, now it's dark, and you kind of just do this tour of Granite Mountain overnight. And at different times, because of where it is down in the snowy mountains, it is freezing. It's hailed on me, it gets below zero, there's frost on everything. but I love that race. So that's the one I've done 5 times because I just kept on doing it. And I really like quite a few of the ones in WA. I like Delirious West. That one I've done 3 times. It's a 200 miler. And I love the scenery on it. It's on the Bibbulmun track. So you start in red desert dirt and then you're heading south to the coastline. You hit the coastline and it's all these big sand dunes and it's right on the southern coast. So it's quite spectacular. And then you head back up a bit north into the Kari trees and the Tingle trees. And it's all this big forest, and I really like that one just for how it changes while you're doing the course. It's very spectacular. So that one, but I've done it 3 times now, so I've done enough of that one. But I really like that one. So I think the ones that I like that have the spectacular scenery, and I always like the original G&W course, but they can't run that one now, so it's the shorter G&W.
And of course the giraffe goes with you in each of the races. Now what about, Delirious West, Irrational South, Unreasonable? There's a circuit. Can you be an Australian ultra marathon champion? Is there something that at the end of the year you go, I've done all these, I've won, I've placed second, I've got enough points, I'm the champion for the year? Does that happen?
There is actually an Australian Ultra and Trail Running Association, and they do have a point score series, but it incorporates so you have your track races too, like your 24-hour track races, which I absolutely could not do because I'd be bored. But yeah, when you're running, so they have those in it. The 200 milers, they actually had a Triple Crown series, so it was finishing 3 200 milers in a year. Which I did achieve, and that was quite big because I also won all 3 of those 200 milers in that year. But overall, not really. It's probably the ultra one is the closest there is in Australia, and that one I'll do okay in just because I do enough ultras, but I'm not doing track or road. I'm sorry, they're just not my seed.
Melissa, you talk about your coach, and he has a hand in physically getting you ready for these races, but mentally, do you think how descriptive you are of the scenery of the races, do you think that helps with your mental strength, taking it in, not being obsessed with one foot after the other, having a look around at what you're enjoying?
Oh, 100%, because it's just distracting. Like, if all you think about is running, it's not very exciting. You're just running. But yeah, I love getting distracted by seeing different things, like coming up to the top of a mountain, it opens out to this spectacular view, or there's something going on the track, like, I don't know, there's a cow up ahead of me or something, and now the cow's coming towards me. And yeah, there was one race where I got bitten by a horse. Like, there's different things. I love the distractions that occur just to, I don't know, just to distract me from what I'm doing and the fact that I'm in a lot of pain while I'm doing it.
Not sure that getting bitten by a horse would be fun.
Well, it was
really
a
a giraffe.
On 6-foot track.
It was a giraffe.
It hit me on the head.
That's it. Back with more of Melissa in just a minute. You mentioned Marg and the team at the Runner Shop at Killarney Vale. If one of your goals is to get fit or fitter like Melissa, then the Runner Shop should be your first stop. Whether it's walking, jogging, running, racing, ultra marathons, they've got the best range and over 50 years making sure your shoes are the best fit. The big names are all there: Asics, Brooks, Hoka, New Balance, Nike, Saucony and more, and all the accessories you need to move better and healthier: socks, caps, singlets, heaps of products to keep you hydrated. Runner Shop, Wyong Road, Killarney Vale near Coles, looking after the social, or like Melissa, the serious. There we go.
Melissa, the rogaining, you must enjoy the teamwork. A lot of your sport is on your own. The ultra marathon and trail running is on your own. You must enjoy the rogaining, having that team around you.
Yeah, so generally doing it in a team of 2, and there's a lot of discussion, like, do you think this is the gully we're meant to go in? Do you think this is the spur? And a lot of the planning, how far do you reckon we can run? Or, like, do we need to head back now? And, I love doing that. And occasionally, so sometimes I'll race them, and we'll do them in the smaller teams for that. But occasionally we'll do them just for fun, and so we'll take, like, a full team of 5, and we'll have a lovely day out. So they have, like, during Rogaines, they have these things called tea and damper, which is an aid station. But literally, it has, like, tea, and it has cakes, and it has all sorts of things. And there'll be, like, a control there, and it's worth 20 points, which isn't much. Most of the higher ones are worth, like, 100. But we always go to the tea and damper. And so that's, like, the little team has to decide that we're definitely going for tea and damper. But yeah, I really like it. I like having, and we're like chatting the whole way and discussing like strategies and whether or not we think it's worth going off into this gully and following this river to find this control, or do we ditch that one and do we go over to this other one instead that might be a bit easier? And yeah, I thoroughly enjoy doing it as a team.
All right, the team there, but sounds good. Last year, 7 runs. You've run nearly 1,200 kilometres, 4 firsts. How's 2025 going compared to 2024?
Actually, it's going pretty good. I've done 2 100 milers this year, Cape to Cape, and the UTA 100 miler. What else have I done? I've done a lot of things. There's something else I was doing earlier in the year. 6 foot track, it got postponed, so it's not until September now. I can't remember what else I've done.
That's okay.
Melissa, I'm sure there's a lot of people are intrigued and amazed at your recovery, how quickly you can recover from these events. What process do you go through with your recovery?
Not a whole lot. Mostly I just put on compression pants and go to bed. That's pretty much it. I'm a bit slack with it. And then I just eat a whole heap of snacking, and I'll take a few days off running and try and do some walking. But yeah, I don't really like ice baths. They're kind of traumatic. So yeah, I don't do a whole lot.
Now, before we go, I'm sure you'd like to thank your mum and all the people that are your support crew when you're doing all these ultra marathons. Without them, how would you go? I mean, your mum's been there. I know your mum pretty well. She's been there for a lot of the races, particularly over in WA, and they're absolutely essential for you doing these runs, aren't they?
Yeah. Support crew really make a difference. Whether she's there or someone else is. It's just so nice to come into an aid station when you've been out in the dark all alone for the last 5 hours, and having someone there that actually knows you and is going to give you some water and look after you just for a little bit before they push you back out onto the trail. But I love coming in and seeing a friendly face. It really lifts the spirits. And yeah, then they can't be too friendly though, because they really do have to push you back out. You got to keep going at some point.
Melissa, what's the best piece of advice you've been given in your career so far that you'd pass on to others that are entertaining going into ultra marathon running or trail running?
Probably the main one is that even when you feel like you're completely broken, you're probably not. Just take a little bit of time out and get back out there. There's no issue. If you want to take an hour's nap, do that rather than pulling out of the race and then get back into the race. All
right, another bit of advice for aspiring ultra marathoners. And what age should you start? You don't want to start too young as a teenager. You started 10 or 15 years ago. What age do you think is a good age to start doing all these ultra marathons?
I'm not sure if there's really an age limit. It probably depends. I wouldn't encourage anyone really young to get into the super long distance. But if they're doing walk running or something, like a kid doing 20Ks and they're walk running it with their parents or whatever out in the bush, I think that's totally fine. If you want to get into serious ultras, I'd definitely build up a very strong base so that your body's used to it and you're not going to get injured. So yeah, have been running for at least 5 years and consistently running.
Melissa, the future, what does it hold? You talked about going to France next year. Is there other events around the world that you've earmarked that you'd like to do in the future?
It'll probably be the big ones over in the US, like Western States and things like that. They're the other ones. I'll do UTMB first because that one's been on my bucket list for a very long time, 7 or 8 years. I've been wanting to do that one. So I'll get that one done, and then I'll pick what's next and focus on it. And I'll have to say if there's any other Australian ones I haven't done. I think I've done all the big ones though.
It sounds like it to us. Yes, it sounds like it to us. Look, it's been absolutely awesome. I think we're just blown out by your achievements and the distances you've run over a period of time. And it's been fantastic having you on our CCSC Victory Lap Sports podcast. Congratulations on your achievements, Melissa. And thanks to our sponsors again, the Sports College, Heritage Real Estate, and this one in particular, the Runner Shop at Colonial. It's been an amazing experience having a talk to you and listening to what you've done.
Yes, Melissa, we look on in awe. Congratulations and best of luck for France next year.
And she's about to run out of the studio.
Thanks.
Very good, Melissa.
That was great.
Very good.
Yeah, really good. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.